A meaningful assessment directly addresses the objectives of the lesson and will also measure the student's use of the appropriate academic language. Classroom assessments that provide information to you and your students on their developing academic vocabulary is a valuable tool when you are designing the appropriate instruction and allow for students to monitor their own learning. Using a rubric for assessing academic vocabulary development is one method you can use in your evaluation of your students' development in word knowledge, word learning strategies, and word consciousness, as well as their use of academic vocabulary in comprehending texts, classroom discussions, and assigned writing tasks. Involving students in their own learning can be especially beneficial to their development. Providing students with a self-assessment of academic vocabulary learning tool helps them keep in touch with their own learning. Self-assessments become powerful tools for student growth when you and your students work together to set realistic goals for progress based on their learning. Working with individual students, you can focus on one or two areas at a time to help them by providing rich and varied language experiences that support learning and using vocabulary. Your students bring a wealth of experience into the classroom. You can tap into their collective knowledge by helping them make specific connections to their personal experience to the content you are teaching. This is especially important for ELL students who are building their experiential world knowledge along with their academic vocabularies. For ELL students, building vocabulary by attaching new content words to a broader topic will facilitate their learning of content vocabulary. Ask and then listen. The open-ended questions are simple enough. Even beginning English language learners want to share their experiences. Use activities that encourage them to use quick sketches, arrows, or simple pantomimes to express ideas. If they get stuck, suggest a word supported with a sketch or gesture of your own. In a quick write, concentrate on the ideas, not the spelling or grammar. Help students share and connect. Within the diversity of a shared student stories is the common thread of living for all of us. By tapping into those past experiences, you stimulate clear connections between the lesson and the students themselves. Brain dump is a wonderful activity you can try when building background. Have students draw a picture or give an example, or write down everything that they know about the topic or the vocabulary words, and maybe even identify which words should be discarded. What is the topic? If you have a specific set of vocabulary words that you will be teaching, you can have the students pre-assess their familiarity with the words. You can create a basic chart that lists the word and options on a knowledge continuum. After you have taught the unit, have students reevaluate where they fall on the continuum. When you build a solid house, you start with a strong foundation. What words don't fit? This activity is similar to the previous, except the students are told the topic and they must decide which words written on the board or overhead should be included in the unit and which words should be discarded. The academic words for this lesson are explicitly teach. Students learn best when they can connect new information to previous concepts, vocabulary, strategies, and activities from earlier learning experiences. It's possible that your students come from a number of feeder schools, not to mention different school districts, states, and countries. If that is the case, it is sometimes extremely difficult to know where to begin a lesson. Academic vocabulary and concepts learned in another language are just as valid as those learned in English, but school curriculum in other countries may have a different focus. You can change what they have or haven't been exposed to. You just have to work with what you have. In summary, explicitly instructing your students in the academic language needed to be successful in your lesson will reward you with engaged students who are able to interact meaningfully with the content you are teaching. If the lesson content is a dinner of spaghetti and meatballs, then the academic language is the plate and the silverware that is needed to serve and digest it all. When teachers increase students' academic language knowledge, they are giving them the tools they need to digest a lifetime of learning and continue to expand the limits of their world.